We'll call this special meeting to order. This is Delaware County Commissioners' special meeting. It's June 29th. Time is 3:07 p.m. Today, the special meeting is to discuss the proposed Regional Health and Rehabilitation Center that this set of commissioners is planning on putting out at the Delaware County Justice Center ground. On the Zoom call today, we have individuals from RQAW who are working with to build and design this particular center, along with WellPath, who's a company that we would like to run the operation. So with that being said, do we want to start with, who wants to start with, Dustin?
Sure. Can give everybody an overview of what we've been working on and the current plans and walk through those. If that's what we'd like to do. So I'll see if I can share my screen here. Someone's got to enable me to share if that's possible. Thank you. Okay. Can everybody see the floor plan?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, so as Commissioner Henry had said, I'm Dustin Fry with BW Construction. Been working hand in hand with RQAW and WellPath for several months on this project as we've gone through a handful of renditions to determine what would be the best fit for a facility on the Justice campus in Delaware County that could serve the area residents as a mental health and treatment facility. So we've got a few individuals from RQAW on the call today. Sanjay Patel and Eugene Versofsky as project architects. Caleb Rothenberger is our site designer. I don't know, Pete Peterson from RQAW is also on. And then I know Corey McConnell from WellPath is here as well, and we'll dive into services and treatments and other things that they'll be providing at this facility. As I said, we've been working on this for several months and have several renditions of what this plan could have been, and over time have settled into a facility that looks something similar to this floor plan. Currently, this is just under 12,000 square feet. It would have 40 beds available. It is a facility that we have in mind that is expandable to add additional beds and services, so that as needs grow and this is successful, it could easily be added onto without interrupting the day-to-day services of the facility. It is planned to be a standalone facility from the current Justice facility, so there's patients are free to come and go to this. It's not connected to the jail or the courts, but it could definitely be a tool of the courts and the justice system to allow people to get the help they need at a facility like this. So I'll let Sanjay or Eugene maybe talk a little bit more high level about the plan, if to give some specific information just so people can understand kind of what the makeup of this plan is.
This is Eugene Versofsky with RQAW. So as you look at the floor plan, what looks like the south portion really will be the west, where we call out the primary entry. That will be the primary entrance for public and residents into the facility. Number one, you see right, adjacent to that entry is a public lobby, and then we have a receptionist and additional, staffing offices in that light blue. There's a little break room, representing number 7, and some staff restrooms right where the cursor is. Beyond that point, that light yellow color is a kitchen with a service area representing number 15. We're currently trying to determine some additional empty spaces, so there might be some mechanical rooms where that cursor currently is, as we're defining the receiving area. As you move in further into the building, you have a dark blue area, which will become a drug screen office with a, I'm sorry, number 10 is the nurse's office, and 11 is the drug screening bathroom. So we designed the bathroom in such a way where you can have multiple people there at the same time. The brown area are basically supporting spaces to operate the facility. Mechanical, and boiler room is where the cursor is currently located, and then we have an IT closet and some additional storage. The light green spaces are, residential support spaces, so we have some lockers as you, turn to go into their respective, sleeping areas. It's represented the number 18, and then we have a treatment room for each side of the building and a classroom, classroom to share for each, male and female side. As Dustin mentioned, we have 20 total beds in this facility, 20 for each side. We have 2 individual bedrooms, 3 double bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms that can house 4 people at one time. Each bedroom will have, some, I don't want to say security furniture, but it's furniture that we can sustain some damage if need be, heavy plastic type of thing. And then they're gonna have a dedicated table and some shelving on the wall as well. The other final piece is at 21 and 22, which is basically shared restrooms, showers, and a laundry space. As Dustin also mentioned, that this design is trying to consider future growth. So where we are currently showing outdoor gathering can easily be expanded with additional corridor or support spaces, and then that will lead to a future development that will kind of look similar to what you see on the screen with minor variations. That pretty much does it.
Also, I don't know, Eugene, the, preliminary images, just to show kind of a simple, welcoming facility that would, fit the current campus there, but, you know, be more residential-like, that's, welcoming for people to come and visit. So,
Yeah, and just to echo what Dustin was saying, we really tried to focus on a design that mirrors what the existing building that's going to be on the same site, which is the jail and justice facility. We have, we're considering cost as part of the design, so we're trying to have a building that can sustain the test of time, but at the same time, we're using less brick, more residential type of materials, and then the geometry itself. We're trying to create this homey feel to the design, so people don't feel like it's an institution.
is there, the design element that we're working on, and are still working through, this time is kind of the location on the site. This is one of the potential locations, what you the justice facilities down here off the screen. But shared drive, some common parking, adding some new, but as Eugene mentioned, talking about expansion, there's, you know, limitless possibilities of how large this facility could expand. You could even, you know, future housing areas could be potential other treatment options or different things. So there's a lot of flexibility with the forethought that the commissioners have planned into this facility to hopefully be a staple in the region for treatment. So that is the info from a design perspective. Just to kind of give everybody an overall timing perspective of where we're at. We're in the kind of design development phase currently. We're trying to nail down the final site location so we can finish the investigations we need for that. Assuming all goes well with this final site location and getting the surveying and geotechnical info that we need, we're pushing to have design 100% complete by the end of October of this year. And we would be delivering our guaranteed prices to Delaware County sometime before the end of the design, late September, so that we could get started yet this year with the construction of this facility, and would anticipate probably it being complete, if all goes well, late third quarter of next year, 2024. So it's a high level view of design and what we're working on and what this facility may be and look like. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, Shannon, we can share info about WellPath or whatever you have next on the agenda.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Dustin? Yeah, okay, Corey, you wanna discuss WellPath and, what your plan is?
Absolutely. So good afternoon, everyone. Corey McConnell. I'm our regional director for WellPath and Recovery Solutions. And as a longtime, lifetime Hoosier resident, and spent the majority of my life in Delaware County and Blackford County, I'm really excited about the project and bringing some much needed support for those suffering from mental health and substance use disorders to the area. Before I get into the WellPath stuff, I just really want to commend Dustin and Sanjay and Caleb and then Eugene and the team at R2AW. The design and just the location that they're looking at right now makes a lot of sense therapeutically, you know, to have some differentiation between, you know, even though it's on the Justice campus there, it's separate. I don't have a jail in my peripheral vision as I'm walking my 20-year-old son into a voluntary facility that looks very familiar to me as far as, you know, we have a medical space that looks like a professional specialty building that you might find elsewhere in Delaware County. And you might find elsewhere across the state in Indianapolis or in larger communities where it's aesthetically pleasing, it's comfortable. And, you know, they're talking about, you know, kind of a lush landscape, you know, that is friendly and welcoming, as well as some potential, you know, depending where things end up with some outdoor recreational grounds, potential therapeutic gardens, things of that sort, that would align with our programming and our goals to keep people in community and active and working through their conditions so that we can help get them well. So I really commend all of that. It's very thoughtful. The conversations that we have had have been very productive to this point. For those of you that are on the call that are not familiar with WellPath or WellPath Recovery Solutions, a lot of people have heard of our sister company, our parent company that provides healthcare in criminal justice settings. They've been around for over 30 plus years, and we have over 17,000 employees in that organization that treat vulnerable and disenfranchised patient populations every day. And our team at Recovery Solutions is a separate company that is focused on really partnering with local and state governments to find standalone solutions to, address behavioral health. Everything was, our mission is, and our beliefs are that people with mental health illness, that they do, and they do get back, they can get well, and they can get back into their lives, and we can help support them in that journey. We currently treat over 3,000 plus patients, 60 locations across the country in the inpatient setting, in the residential setting, each and every day. And these are not jails. These are not prisons. Some of these are, psychiatric hospitals. Some of them are behavioral health facilities where we've got a pretty broad base of programming to meet people where they're at. Because we at WellPath, as many of our behavioral health peers agree, that an individual's treatment should be individualized, not cookie cutter. So we center on the patient, we center on their trauma, we use evidence-based approaches, and we come up with treatment plans for each and every person. Have the next slide, please. So these are some of our current operations across the country. Again, we do hospital and residential facilities, similar to this one. The facility that we're talking about for Delaware County, it would be a 40-bed subacute facility where people come in voluntarily from the community. They're seeking help with their mental health, and therefore they're seeking a solution to their substance use disorder. To stabilize them and get them back on their feet. We're not looking for long-term stays. We're looking for people that, may be here from, 20 to 30 plus days, with some additional outpatient programs where people can come concurrently, on and off. Again, completely voluntary. I think Dustin mentioned that it could be a tool for the justice system. A lot of times we have people with, that have been assigned certain crimes that maybe are of a lesser degree, and they don't need to be incarcerated. And so a lot of times our judicial leaders give them opportunities in lieu of incarceration, to participate in a program to get well so that they can once again return to society and be members of that community. We do competency restoration programs at 48 sites, which is pretty exciting because a lot of times, people struggling with mental health challenges and concerns, they're not fit to stand trial, and they don't understand, they're not capable of going through the system fairly. And so we give people an opportunity to right-side themselves and get them where they need to be. Through some multidisciplinary restoration. We have community-based programs where we just have mental health centers, a couple in California, and then we also do psych hospitals as well. You do the next slide, Justin. Sorry. Okay. A lot of these facilities, we've done public finance facilities, private finance facilities. A lot of times they look very similar. Obviously, we don't have the climate to support the palm trees for the landscape at this point, but if we could, we would. I know that of all the sites that I've been to throughout our fleet of locations, the Florida site is quite beautiful, as are the California ones. And the next slide. So just a sample. This isn't our first time at this. We've been doing this for over 25 years, partnering with state and local governments to come up with solutions to address treatment deserts within their locality and the populations that they serve. We've taken over state hospitals and staffed them and put programming in place that, in Bridgewater, for example, we reduced seclusion and restraint by 95%. And, we're able to update facilities. We're able to bring families in and reconnect them with folks that are in treatment and getting well. So we have documented outcomes that help paint a clear picture that, people do get better. Have the next slide. So just a couple of internal pictures of a couple of facilities, and I don't need to read through all the details here. What we're working with the team on now is, these dorm style that have natural lighting, that are welcoming, that if I walked my 20-year-old son into the facility as a parent, I would feel comfortable. I would feel, like there's activity going on here that, my son's not going to jail. My son's not going to be penalized, that, this supports his recovery, safe, judgment-free, and comfortable. I mean, you at a voluntary facility, there has to be a willingness for the participants, we can want what we want for people and our family members and loved ones, but they have to want it too, and they have to feel in a place that's supportive, to maximize their recovery and the therapeutic outputs. Have the next slide. So again, everything we do is individualized. We have quite the repository, and that I can provide, list of hundreds and hundreds of programs and lessons to the commissioners to share. But everything that we do, it's trauma-informed, patient-centered care. We do assessments on everyone. Everything we do is evidence-based, and that science updates quite regularly. SAMHSA and the federal government puts out updates with regards to SUD treatment and, usage of medication-assisted treatment and MOUDs. So we stay abreast of that and make sure that we're using current evidence-based outcome-oriented programming. And a lot of our programming, again, is community-oriented. So the facility, in its design, there are group rooms, there are places for groups to meet, indoors and outdoors. When you talk about outdoor sporting activities like basketball and team sports, when you think about the kitchen and the opportunity for people to learn skills and work together to be a part of their own care, and supporting the greater group. Their recovery, their treatment may be individualized, but there's still opportunities and routine involvement with the community of their peers within the facility, which is fantastic because we all know that, once they leave the facility, we want to set them up for success, and we want to set them up, our case managers would help, reorient individuals and connect them with resources outside of the facility so that they have their best footing. We don't live life alone. We have to interact with and survive and thrive in our communities outside of these walls. So we want to set folks up for success. And so a lot of our programming is designed around that. So once they leave, they have a lot to carry with them. The next slide, please. So we have a number, safety is obviously, paramount. We do rounds. We have, all of our staff at Recovery Solutions, and they undergo significant trainings with regard to safety and inclusion and treating our patients with dignity and respect. We have communications and trainings that go out every day, every month. And there's a number of programs that we do for our own staff as well as for the patients. Next one, please. So, at at first glance, you look at the picture and, there's really nothing, criminal justice involved here, so when you look at a justice served setting, here's the 160-bed treatment facility, that we have CARP accredited, that wasn't previously CARP accredited, and we've increased, programming hours here by 150% per resident per day. We're actively involving, our staff, again, with the trainings to, give them back to patients. We don't want idle time. Patients are here for a limited stay, and we want to maximize our time, with them, to give them the tools they need to be successful in their recovery. Again, lots of palm trees. Sorry about that. I should remove the slide and be more sensitive, so I apologize. But one of the things that I love about this is that at this site we have, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of murals, there's a lot of things that are, there's a vibrancy to being in treatment, that takes away kind of the sterile, cold, and, non-welcoming type environments. So we have, multiple facilities along the, eastern coast here, Florida. So this is another facility, that we did, another 60-bed state, licensed adult facility. So these are lower charges, and I think one of the things that makes sense to take note of here is that these are folks with mental health and substance use disorders at this facility. Some of the people in this particular program at Davidson County, their misdemeanor charge level, and their acuity level is low enough to actively participate in programming. We're not a secure lockdown site. People with severe comorbidities are not going to be present. They would not be appropriate for this level of facility. So that's just important to know.
Morning, calling commissioner meeting.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I had Rich up here.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. McConnell? You have any questions for anyone?
This is Steve Bailey from Adams County. I have a question for Corey. Corey, would this be your first facility in Indiana?
For Recovery Solutions, this would be our first facility in Indiana.
Okay.
WellPath, our sister company, has other facilities, where we provide healthcare. But this would be our first behavioral health facility in Indiana.
Thank you.
So let's discuss how we got there. James, you wanna start off?
Well, the way we first got here is about 2018, 2019, we had to build a new jail. When we was building the jail, we also promised a lot of our citizens, because of the mental health problems, the drug problems that we've had within our community, that we would also reach out and build a facility for mental health and drug rehabilitation. It's taken us quite some time to get to the point where we're at. Our jail, I believe, opened in 2021. And as soon as that was open, then we started on really focusing on the mental health and drug rehabilitation. We're at the point now to where we're looking at, like Dustin said, we're getting close to hopefully having this done by the end of 2024, but we've also looked at counties around us that doesn't have a facility like this. You guys are probably in the same boat that we are with the mental health and the drug rehabilitation. You really don't have it. we're not asking all the other counties for any money. What we're asking for is support, a letter of support, uh, to make this into a regional facility. Uh, we want to work together, all the counties, to make this happen. You know, we not only want to make this a better place for our community and to help our struggling people, but we also want to help the other counties do the same thing that we're doing. But we're just about there. And, it was a promise we made to our community. And, we just want to reach out to the surrounding counties. And if you're interested, we'd like to make this into a regional facility. That way, like they said, if your court systems have somebody that really doesn't need to be in jail, this would be an opportunity that your courts could possibly send them over, uh, to this facility. We've traveled, uh, just about all over the United States looking at different facilities. We've looked at crisis centers, but a crisis center is something that you take and drop somebody off for 23 hours. And yeah, they're evaluated those 23 hours, but they're released back out on the streets. We need something more like this there where it's going to be a 20 to a 30-day stay where they can actually get the help. Maybe a crisis center would be good. That way, when they do get evaluated, maybe the crisis centers could contact this facility and, Corey and Willpath could, take them in and assist them with programming. But we've got to do something because there's nothing out there for the people that have problems. I just hope you guys will, all the other counties will join in with us on this.
So Commissioner King and I, both have a law enforcement history, extensive law enforcement history. So we've dealt with the, drug crisis personally on the street. And for myself personally and my family as well, like it has touched a lot of families, but, we gotta do something for these people, because in this county, if an individual, an individual's out and gets picked up for a minor offense, they're taken to the jail. Sometimes your law enforcement officers are taking them to the hospital because there's just nowhere else for them. And to us, I think all three of us, that's not acceptable. We gotta have a place for, these people to go and get help and hopefully with some of these drug offenses, hopefully we can keep the jail, a little less full we get this built and get this treatment started. Maybe it'll stop some of the, reoccurring issues that we have at the jail. So, Sherry, do you have any?
No, it's well done.
So we also have to look at, this doesn't just affect the person with the mental health or the addiction. I explained to a guy the other day, most people has not had the Narcan a 2-year-old child 3 times. And a lot of this stems from the opioid epidemic out there. People get hurt, they get put on painkillers go away, but they still have the addiction. And it affects the children, the mothers, the fathers, the sons, the brothers. And there's nowhere around here to really help them. So like I said, I hope everybody can get on board and help us do this, because actually if this gets up and it's running and it's doing what we think it's gonna do with being able to add beds, I've always also thought about something for juveniles, because juveniles also have the same problems that adults do at times too, so. But where this facility is gonna be placed, we're not far from 69 for the people that will be west of us, with the Muncie bypass. The people that's east, north, or south of us, it's gonna be very accessible for them to get to us also.
I want to reiterate what Commissioner King said. We've been doing this for quite a while now. We've taken several trips around, the United States, looking at different facilities and different, people who run these kind of facilities, and that's how we ended up with WellPath. We actually, we've been down there 2 or 3 times, we really felt like this was the company that could do what we wanted, what we needed done, what we felt like we needed done in this community. So that's the reason we chose, WellPath.
They do have a track record.
They do, yes, they do. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have anything to add? John, you've been in this with us for a while. Do you have anything to add?
No, I just, I want to reiterate, this is for a regional facility, and the county's committed to ARP money to building this facility. There's some money at the state's available. We've had conversations with the State Department of Mental Health, and they're interested in this project as well for a regional model. And so, I know there's nothing out there, because I have friends that have experienced the same thing, so we need to have something done.
Mhm.
What kind of timeline would we like the letters?
I will send out a contact with a draft letter to the commissioners for their review, and if they have an interest, within the next week or so. The biennial budget starts on Saturday, July 1. So that there's some money in the, budget for construction,
Mhm.
but we don't have an application yet. But I'd like to get that up and going so we can send letters of support with our application.
And any of the other commissioners, if you don't wanna ask any questions or anything now, feel free to contact any of us. I'll even drive to your county and sit down and talk to you.
Here's a question.
This is Jeff Castor in Wayne County. Could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So I guess I applaud your initiative in looking at this, long overdue, but, I'm having trouble following what a regional business model would be and how this would work and, how beds might be allocated, how they would be paid for and so on. So do you have some kind of, written pro forma on how this might work?
It'll take
We're
a-
working on that with WellPath. This could be funded by Medicare and Medicaid, part of it. There'll also be some other funding that, the state will kick in on operations. But we're I'm waiting on WellPath to give me some numbers as to what the operating costs are gonna be, so we can take a look at that.
We're starting off with, 40 beds. It'd be 20 for female, 20 for male. What a lot of people don't understand, if you haven't been here and seen where our jail's located, we have approximately an extra 36 acres adjacent to it. That's where we're gonna build this at, so we have plenty of room to grow. So if these beds start filling up, we're gonna look at the growth, at adding on to this. We wanna make sure that it's gonna fit everybody that wants to join into this, that it's gonna fit with them. We'll reach out to, the court systems and try to get all of this to work, but, we would like to sit down with all the commissioners in the counties that's interested and work up some kind of, interlocal agreement or memorandum of understanding on how this will work. We want everybody that's gonna be involved in this, we'd like to have some sort of input from them. You know, it could end up that we could have 2 or 3 from Delaware County that shows up, and we could have 15 or 20 from your, community. I don't think if you bring 20 or 30, we're not gonna push them out and say, no, we have this many beds, and it just needs to be filled. I don't care, Delaware County, Wayne County, Jay County, any county, when these people come and need help and there's a bed there, they're gonna go in there. Because like I said, I've seen so much in my career, and my career's starting to wind down now, that there's nowhere for these people to go. I've been to where people's taking their own lives because of the mental health problems. So, and I've got family members that's done it. So this is near and dear to me to get this done. But I want to work with every surrounding county. As long as they want to work with us, I want to work with them. I want to put this plan together and I want to see it happen. And like I said, we've got probably about 35, 36 acres out there. We can build on. If we end up need 80 beds, we got the room. We need 100 beds, we've got the room. But I want it to work for all of us.
This is Mary Ann Butters, also Wayne County Commissioner. I'm not sure you're aware that Wayne County has had a 64-bed, 28-day voluntary, residential treatment facility for about 6 years. It did take them, about 4 years to get Medicare, Medicaid approved. That was quite a struggle, but, it is also regional. Before they could get Medicaid approval, they, most of their patients were, private pay through UAW, mostly. It is full with those pretty good wait lists most of the time, so there is a regional need, no doubt. But we do have a 64-bed residential care facility with also following that a less intensive recovery center in Hagerstown that is fed by the Cambridge City Residential Care Facility. Just wanted to let you know that exists here in Wayne County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I recognize, and I've got clients that have had issues trying to get logged into Medicaid and Medicare and get them all approved. But I think with this push in the legislature this last session for mental health, the state has really emphasized this, and I think that will help get this process moving faster than it has in the past. There hasn't been this emphasis on mental health with the legislature in a long, long time. And so that was one of the number one priorities for this legislature.
We have been working with the state, elected officials as well. Well, even some of the congressmen as well. I mean, we've pushed this around. A lot of the highly elected officials knows this project is in the works, so.
Yep.
Is there any more questions, comments? Okay, if there's, does anyone else have anything to add? Here?
Nope.
All right, if there's nothing else, we can, recess this meeting.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion for recess and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're in recess. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.